Hey everybody, welcome back to Humans of Springford. This is the new feature we're doing now that we are kind of cooped up in our homes. It gives us an opportunity to highlight some of the people behind the business activity and the various events and investments that are going on to revitalize the Springford community, the Twin Boroughs specifically. And today my guest is Mark Shumaker. He's very involved in a number of things, which we'll talk about at length in just a bit. But Mark, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time.
Sure thing, Jeff. This is great.
So Mark and I, sorry.
No, I was going to say I'm working from home. I'm taking some time here for this video. This is a nice break from the day job. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Mark and I met.
Friday. It's Friday, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you too. Friday. The days all run together anymore.
Oh, it's like a perpetual weekend.
That's right.
It's off the hook.
Yeah. Mark and I met at the Royersford Business Association, I would say probably a year or two ago at this point, and hit it off. And I've just been watching him steadily be more and more involved in the various things that are going on. So, Mark, why don't you tell people just your backstory first, and then we can get into some of the various things that you've been involved in the Springford community.
Sure. Well, how did I get here is 1995. I came to the borough after growing up. I grew up in Ridley Park down Delaware.
Okay.
Went to Ridley High School, then college at Villanova, which was not too far away. And out of Villanova, 91, I didn't get a job right away, and my mom got sick. She passed from cancer in 92.
Okay.
And around that time, that was cool. Yeah, she was 54, and so I just decided to stick home with my dad for a couple of years, and I got a job in Center City. I didn't like it too much. It was sort of like a desk job. And a couple of years, about around 95, I got some new money, and a buddy of mine who I grew up with had a job in Reading, and I got a job near Quakertown, north of Pennsburg. And we said, let's share an apartment together to save some money. And we picked like a point that was like close to his job and my job, but also not too far away from where we grew up. And
okay.
This town looked like it was it. And, when we came in searching for apartments, it just checked all the boxes. And then right around that time, there was still the old amusement park at the Lakeview Center. I mean, that wasn't functioning, but
right.
That was pretty cool. And then I could tell by through town all the old factories that were here, and there were still factories running, and then there were some that were closed down, and the Diamond Glass factory was along the river on First Avenue, and that was shut down. So in general, I thought like, okay, this town must have had a pretty cool heyday.
Right.
But it's still not that bad. I mean, God, the existing high school back then is now the 9th grade center.
Yeah.
And so, the class of whatever, 95 or 96 in Springford, I think was like 250 people. And now it's like maybe 650 or 620. Anyways, we set up camp here, and I really, what I liked about everybody was really friendly and laid back and helpful, and it was just a good vibe. I think it was just a little different for me. Where I grew up was near Media in Delaware County. It was a little bit more crowded. Mm-hmm. I guess a little bit more Philly, a little bit more attitude, so to speak. And just getting out of here, it was like a new beginning for me.
Yeah.
And I was able to, I got into a job that I liked better, which was up in Telford, and that was into manufacturing. And I got into some hands-on engineering and manufacturing and like plant floor stuff. And I didn't have to wear a tie and all these shirts. I could just, I could learn a lot from different people that were running machines to make products. And I like that. And, I just decided to stick in the area. And real quick, met my to-be wife in 2001, and we ended up getting married in 2005. And let's see, 9/11 happened back then, and a couple years later, I started to get involved in managing a rental property in downtown Royersford. Right around that time, the Griner Price Company had bought the old glass factory, mm-hmm. and they turned it into the Riverwalk community. And my dad had been retired, but he was interested in getting involved in some different type of projects, some maybe investment or what have you. And we went in 50-50 on one of the townhomes down there to have as like a affordable, high quality rental.
Yeah.
We knew the build quality was really good, but from that builder, Marshall Granner and Joe Price, their company. And they finished a couple of the buildings for us, like late 2007, 2008, and then it was right before the housing economy was starting to crash. So that was interesting. But what we found was that the housing economy was crashing, but there was still a need for rental homes, and they booked right away. So that was a pretty cool thing, and it was a good side hobby for me. I was still working up in actually, I changed jobs a little bit. I was doing some consulting, some traveling around, but I really enjoyed helping people out living in their homes, and we ended up picking up 4 more of those townhomes down at the Riverwalk. We formed an LLC called Anchor Court Associates. Excuse me.
You're fine.
And so from 2008, 2009, we ended up with 5 of them. They're fully occupied. People liked the area. We kept the rates really affordable. I thought we weren't looking to try to make a lot of money on it. Really just broke even.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun to get to work with my dad, because he was a school principal and then a superintendent, and then he retired when he was 62 and did investment counseling for a couple of years, but I never got a chance to work for him or with him. And that was a chance to work with him, and it was a good bonding time.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So that was cool. And let's see, 2011, back and forth here. 2011, he got sick. He got pancreatic cancer and passed pretty quickly in about 6 weeks once he found out. So my sister joined the partnership, but really it was just me managing the homes.
Yeah.
And also at the time, my wife and I, we had one daughter who's now 11.
Wow.
And she was just starting like kindergarten and Brooke and everything else. So it was like a bittersweet thing with my dad's passing, but it was like a new beginning with my sister joining, and still busy with work and getting along. And then we kept on going. And then as my kid was getting into first grade, second grade, me and my wife back then, we weren't getting along too well. So we had some issues, and we ended up over a couple of years getting a divorce.
Yeah.
And during that process, we learned we kept a really tight focus on our kid.
Yeah.
We did the best we could to like get along. And what happened was we decided just to go to one lawyer. Let's try to make it minimal as far as the expenses and the cost and everything else. And that worked out. I mean, it wasn't easy. They never are, but we're getting along really well now. And where that brings me is, I guess, 3 years ago. I mean, it was a tricky time, but I was having, we set it up with 50-50 custody. And I found myself having free time on weekends or every other weekend or some weeknights. And that's when I started to say, okay, am I going to, kind of get more depressed and start, going out to bars and drinking beer to try to solve my problems. And that really wasn't the answer. And what ended up happening was I started to just reach out into the community. And that's how I got to know Anil and Mayor Jenna, actually just before Jenna got elected. And they said, oh, there's all kinds of things you can get involved with in town to help out, etc.
Yeah.
And really that was, I really ate that up. I thought that was awesome. There was, I started to get to know, I joined the One Night Out Planning Committee.
Yeah.
I was involved with that as far as planning it. And I did some other volunteer work for like Community Day and certain things. And I had started like a side hustle during spring and summer doing like deck pressure washing and deck painting. And that started to get me involved. And it's been just all positive since then.
Yeah, that's great.
I met you and a bunch of other folks in the business community at the Pink Moose.
Yeah.
And that was cool. That was like a new beginning when Mayor Jenna started, and I met a bunch of motivated people there, including Rick Lewis, who was talking about what his plans were for revitalizing the Trestle. And I'd never even heard of the Trestle. I think everybody would just drive over the bridge to Spring City and not even turn their heads to see what was over there. Oh, that's that rusty old thing. And that was another project that really interested me because, I saw it as, like everybody does, a connector to the boroughs, and then that's, where we're at with that is, the grant applications, and Pico donated their half of it, and the borough won the grant to rebuild it, to make it a walkable trestle, join the Schuylkill River Trail, and everything was really going great. And what I ended up doing back then was I thought, okay, maybe I saw myself trying to get involved in Spring City somehow.
Yeah.
And that's what made me think, okay, it might be a good idea to see if I could join the Spring City Business Association that was revitalized.
Right.
And that Dave Stetler and Clint Ticknell, Dave F5 Fitness and Clint from Tuned Up Brewing, they were looking to start something new in Spring City. And that looked interesting. And Dave gave me an invite because I think he was on the Royersford Business Association. And mid-January, this was, 4 months ago, was when I met Blair Watts for Birdies. And David said, oh, hey, Blair's looking for sort of a business partner to help him get started. And he's got some amazing recipes, and he's got the energy to put something into a new venture. And it was right around the time when the old Pop's Ice Cream and Cafe was for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan Phillips, who's son of Pop, who I've never met. I've gone to the cafe a couple times for ice cream, and I know there was a lot of cool history there. And I started thinking, oh, maybe I could help out Blair. And the price for it wasn't for the building; it was just for like the restaurant equipment inside, all the cooking equipment and freezers and whatnot, and boilers and everything, and ovens and tables. And so it was pretty reasonable, but it needed a cook, There's nothing that I'm even planning to get with, other than, okay, I can, help start out with a couple dollars here and be a small percentage partner.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And Blair, people were calling him Birdie. He's the one who really got the ball rolling. His wings, his food, his salmon, his chicken waffles, etc. Everything's super tasty, and it's really homey in there. It's not really fixed up super right away, but he's just been great, and I think people really love his food, and he's just so friendly and just a warm guy, and he's got some new energy, and I'm thrilled. I can't believe it really is happening, because I wasn't looking to get involved in any kind of food business at all. Right. And really I'm not. I think one time a couple weeks ago I helped them put some 50 sandwiches together for Spring City Electric. So that was like an hour, and I put a face mask on and gloves and made sure it was clean and sanitary and everything else. And but I'm no cook or no wait person, or that would just overwhelm me. But anyways, but helping out him with whatever type of business need, or we got the sign going. He had an idea for a design online, and just through connections, people said, oh yeah, Signorama, Phil White over in Ridge Pike there does a great job, and it happened within less than a week.
Wow.
And I grabbed some ladders that I use for pressure washing or deck painting and stuff. We put it in there, and it's super exciting. I mean,
for sure.
And that's where we're at now. We were looking to do a fundraiser for the National Night Out that was on April 4th, Saturday. And I still think there's a good outlook. We have the Trestle grant is still there. I think all the schedules have just been pushed back. What's it going to be? We don't know.
Right. Yeah, it just seems it's unfortunate, the timing of everything, but because everything seemed to be really on I was talking to Alex Metricardi from the borough council, and she was saying that like you do
Yep.
all this work, this leg work that nobody really sees, and you're it's just little inch by inch by inch, and then right when they started to feel like, okay, the snowball is starting to roll down the hill, everything has been put on pause, unfortunately. So, but
Yeah.
it's ready to go. As soon as we are able to do things again, everything's ready to launch. And one thing I saw, it's been really encouraging, is to see Blair's posts and stuff. I follow Birdies on social media, and
Yep.
the plan this weekend is for us to get takeout from there, because we haven't gotten a chance to eat there yet. But either tonight or
Okay.
tomorrow night, we're going to be ordering food for the family from there. So I'm excited to try it. And his energy definitely is contagious just from his social media, and the lives that he's done and stuff, and people supporting him in light of the fact that he opened literally like a few weeks, or not long before everything shut down. So he's basically just been takeout delivery service for the most
Yeah.
part. So
Yeah, for him to be able to keep that going, or just the takeout, and have a
yeah,
network of people that quickly,
yeah,
you know, talk about a bad time to open up a small cafe or restaurant.
yeah,
Uh, but I don't know. I think it goes to show you about just the people in this town. I
yeah,
think are like really loving, and they're always trying to help out one another.
yeah, for
And
sure.
it's awesome. It's a close knit community. And that I got that feeling when I came up here in the '90s. You
Yeah,
know, it's just what it is. I mean, there's a lot of history, a lot of families that kind of, I think, were started when there was like an industrial revolution. A lot of the manufacturing is up and down the Schuylkill that
yeah,
you see going up to Pottstown, down to Phoenixville with steel and everything. You
yeah,
have all that old infrastructure and all these old buildings, and now you have a lot of folks like some of the investors. Everybody in town is looking to preserve the old buildings,
yeah,
and that's cool.
yeah,
They're knocking stuff down, and it's exciting.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, you came here when
2017 is when we moved here. So
okay,
very, I was saying like I moved here in May, and then we launched Discover Springford in September. So I kind of just hit the ground running the moment we moved in. I started trying to get involved, and I'm not
hmm
as able to be as involved as I would like, just because of being my performance. Well, right now I'm not performing, but when I am performing, it's the schedule, it's nights and weekends and things like that. So a lot of those extracurricular things I'm unable to be a part of. But as much
yep,
as I can do to highlight what's going on, um, for other people to to see it and get involved in it, my family, my wife, and my kids to enjoy. That's kind
hmm
of the role that I'm currently playing, and who knows what the future holds in terms of my uh, career and all that kind of stuff. So, but I'm
you know.
excited to do what I can.
I mean, I think you've been a big factor with all of your interviews over the last 2 years. I mean, with Anne Marie or Michael McCloskey,
Yeah.
or you name it. I mean, I've never really seen anything like that happen in other towns that I've lived in, and it's just like it's cool. It's
Nice.
awesome. It's out of the box, and I think that's like I think it's just neat to see. There's you, and there's a lot of other people in the community,
Yeah.
and then Spring City as well.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of amazing folks there that they're saying, hey, this town has a lot of cool potentials as well,
Yeah.
and everybody's starting to feel it. And Phoenixville is a little overcrowded right now,
Right.
and people are starting to look at, say, I want to move to Spring City, because that music store's always been there, but now there's some new stuff there.
Yeah.
The art, the Spring Mill Studios that used to be the knitting mill, or
Right.
whatever, not much for business or commerce, but now you have all these artists that have their studio that are creating in there.
Yeah.
My daughter did summer camp there last summer, uh, and it was just a lot of fun. Just there's new things starting to happen, and you know it's super.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. I've been able to feature the Creative Life Factory in this past season of Discover Springford, and
oh, cool.
that writers' room that they have on the first floor there is so cool for creativity. And then they gave us a tour of the building itself.
hmm
I didn't really get into the individual artist studios because they're privately leased spaces, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
to see the character of the building and the work that was done to kind of keep it feeling the history, but also everything is new and preserving some of the original floors and the walls and things like that. It's really cool. And the thing about
Yeah.
Spring City too is that the main street is so walkable. It's really only a matter of time before all those storefronts start to fill up. We featured Clint in the first season of Discover Springford, Tune Up Brewing, and I
Yeah.
actually I performed there back in January, and
Wow.
we were going to be doing a regular thing like every other month. I was actually supposed to perform there on March 22nd on a Sunday, like early bird special kind of thing, and then everything closed, so I didn't get to perform. But
No.
and the same with Dave Stetler, I featured him, and we've done the Spring City
Yeah.
Hotel.
He's pump Bill Hoffman, right?
Yeah,
That place has been there. Such a cool building.
yeah, we did.
And
They were one of the first ones to agree to be featured as well, the Spring City Hotel, and we've done
mhm.
Chaplin's, we've done George's Music. So yeah, it's just there's so much history there, and it's so cool to see that people are starting to latch on and
Uh-huh.
to invest their time and their talent to reinvigorate what's already there.
Totally.
Yeah. So
Another unusual observation is there's still a lot of manufacturing
yeah,
in the Twin Boroughs as well. You have AMT Pump on Royersford around 4th Avenue, and you have the Spring City Electric Company that's doing a North American business with all the amazing
yeah,
light posts that they make over there. And like, where are they coming from? It's like from Spring City.
yeah. It's so
And
cool.
there's AC Miller, there's a Hydromotion company, there's still, like, this is still a great area where you can have people that have manufacturing jobs that are producing
Yeah,
a lot. And it's not just restaurants that are bringing in people. There's people are coming into town because they're putting in physical work and
right.
making a lot of product. And I think that's starting to spread a little bit. You're seeing a little bit of it happen in Pottstown. And Pottstown's having a little bit of revitalization
Yeah,
in their restaurants and cafes. Ripster's Ice Cream, the Brick House is changing names and new ownership. That's looking up. There's a lot of good things happening up there that are not Phoenixville,
yeah,
which you know has gone through its own transformation that started 15 years ago.
yeah,
So it's pretty awesome.
yeah, for sure.
It's
What are some of the things that you've done in terms of the trestle? What was your role in the committee or whatever it was to start that
um
process? How did you get involved in that? Or
uh
what was your what were some
really,
of the things you did while you were doing it?
I mean, I wouldn't say a super high involvement, other than when I started, I saw that Rick Lewis had started the effort to do a feasibility study,
Yeah,
and he was putting on like advertising as far as looking for maybe people to invest in that, and small businesses, and or just community members. And we were able to make a check for a small amount out to the Schuylkill River Greenways, which is who owns who owned the project, who did the feasibility
yeah,
study. And Rick was awesome. He was just kind enough to say, "Hey, do you want to come on the steering committee meetings and give your input as a resident
yeah,
and as a local small business owner, and who I also grew up in the neighborhood in the last
right,
20 years." So I mean, only just to try, trying to help it out as far as just maybe doing social media posts like on
right,
LinkedIn, like this is happening.
right,
Try to connect people and try to stir an interest.
yeah,
And what really took took place was the folks in the Royersford Borough with writing grant applications, and the work that Rick did and everybody else who helped him out. Total team effort.
yeah,
And that's I think that made that happen. It's everybody contributing.
yeah,
It's it's not just one person. And then it's and I love what Rick is doing, is adding all the it'll be the town's own, and
yeah,
Spring City included.
yeah,
Their part is on the Schuylkill River Trail side, which is equally as important.
yeah.
And that's just gonna, I mean, I it's just gonna improve everything.
Yeah, I see
And
the renderings of the work that they anticipate being able to do are so impressive, and it's exciting to think about, being able to watch it happen as it's going up, and hopefully, like we've been saying, it's only a matter of time. We just got to kind of wait for everything to start cranking again, and then we can continue the work that's
yeah,
been started.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the comedy club and the stove
Yeah,
works.
so exciting.
I've yet to go to that.
Yeah, there's so
Um,
many things that are starting to the downtown restaurant that's going to be opening up on Main
sure.
Street. There's just so many opportunities. Uh, I feel like it's like a slingshot. Someone told me it's like, you pull it back, you keep pulling it back, you keep pulling it back, and it actually, it gets to that point where you're like, well, when is it ever going to be released? And that, but actually, the further you pull it back, it actually means that it's going to go further and higher. So, that was a nice analogy of like, because I'm like, oh, we're kind of in this holding pattern, you know what I mean? Like, because of everything that's going on in the world.
Yep.
But in a lot of ways, it's an opportunity for us to calibrate and realign, maybe to go further and farther. Further and higher than we would have otherwise, because I feel like people are going to be itching to patronize these businesses again, and itching to get out into the community again. So, hopefully, in some ways, there's a silver lining, is that people are going to be
Yep.
flocking once they're allowed to.
Oh my goodness. Running to the hair salons or dentist appointment.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I want, hoping that Springford Family Dental is going to have somebody drilling into my teeth. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
I had an appointment like that first week when everything was still kind of up in the air. It was the Monday, the 16th of March. And they called me and were like,
Yeah.
we're going to cancel. Then they called me again and said, you know what? We haven't been told to close. So we're going to try to fit as many people in on Monday and Tuesday as we can before they tell us to
Oh, wow.
close. So I went in on that Monday and got my regular checkup and everything, because I had some issues. So I have to go a little bit more frequently than the average person. So at least I got that taken care of, and we'll see what happens, once my next appointment is currently scheduled for, if I'll be able to go or not. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of it's an interesting
Wow.
place to be in time, but there's so much to look forward to, and hopefully, hearing what you're involved in, hearing all the things that are happening, that'll encourage people to hang on and to persevere through this little hiccup that, in the grand scheme of things, it's, as we look back on our life, hopefully it is just a little blip on what we've
Yeah.
encountered. So
I think it will be. I mean,
yeah,
just personal experience. My day job, my company has a plant in Shanghai, and they went into a very hardcore shutdown
yeah,
inside for 30 days, and they shut down even essential businesses.
yeah,
Only, like, electric power and utilities were open, and they nipped it in the bud. They really did good job on getting it locked down, and now they're back to normal.
yeah,
But it's a new normal. There's
yeah,
another buzzword you're hearing a lot.
yeah.
Folks over there are looking to use public transportation less because they don't want to be in crowds as much.
Right.
So they're looking to get electric cars,
Oh, okay.
and they're seeing how, there's so much less air pollution because of, how our footprint is with all the driving and all the combustion engines all over the place. And it's like in LA, it's like in Shanghai, there was a lot of smog all the time. It's not there anymore. You see the air
Wow.
pollution. Like, this could be something different to really, it could bolster the economy that way as well, as
Yeah.
far as, okay, we're going to be driving around golf carts,
Yeah. Yeah. Get into that industry as quickly as you can. Anything that's been basically, they always said that the best way you can build a successful business is to meet a need that isn't currently being met. So
Sure.
it's things like this that we go through that we realize the things that we actually need. Um, so yeah, there's opportunity right there for
Yeah.
anybody who's out there looking for that next venture. If there's been any points of frustration during this period, then scratch that itch. You might be
Hmm.
setting yourself up for a long-term success. Uh, that's just my little plug,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. No, it's going to change a lot of things. I mean, I think it'll make us stronger. Right now
Yeah.
there's a lot of stress around.
Yep.
It's anxious, because nobody has their, go out and get close to people and hug some people and talk to your communities and everywhere.
Right.
And it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's kind of a pain, um, but we'll get through it.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
just, day by day, week by week, the weather's getting warmer. That's going to help.
Yep.
And it's going to turn out just fine.
Yeah, I think people are gonna hopefully realize how much we actually need that community interaction. You know, we're being deprived of it now, and hopefully, you know, when everybody's back out, we realize like, oh yeah, that's right. We need to be together. We need to be showing love to each other. We need to be interacting for the good, not just, you know,
Yeah.
bloviating and angrily pontificating online. You know, like we need to be united
Yeah.
as a people. So that's one. I think that's another positive that I can see coming out of all of this is people
Hmm.
realizing like, let the small stuff go and let's like focus on the major things that we can do together. So
Yeah, totally. Like, let's try not to be divisive, you
right.
know, with all the media and everything else. I mean, I think everybody's sick of looking at their phone or iPad somehow.
Yeah, right. We might go through a period of time where people just, you know, once we're actually able to go out again, everybody's turning their phones off and, you know, like you
Yeah.
know, that's what I'm like. My kids haven't gotten sick of video games yet. If I was there, when I was their age, I would play and then I would get sick of it and I would stop. But I'm
Yeah.
hoping that that'll happen at some point because if we would let them, they would play video games from the time they finish their schoolwork until bedtime. But
It's
kind of
it's amazing, actually. Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. They're communicating. They're having their social time now. They've adapted,
yeah, yeah,
and
totally. My son does Google Meets with his classmates and all this. It's crazy.
yeah, that's really bizarre. And I hope. I mean, to me, I don't think that's a good way to educate on how to become social and, you know,
Yeah,
work with people and problem solve and everything else, or meet people and go dating and everything else.
yeah.
It's a little weird.
It is a little
But you know,
bizarre.
for now,
Yeah,
it's keeping them better. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. Like it's a cheap imitation of what we've grown accustomed to as humans in terms of interaction, but it's better than
Yeah,
zero.
yeah. Just adapt them just a little bit is what we
Yeah,
need. But
for sure.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. Just before we set up the call, I got a big sweet Aloha bowl. It
Oh
was,
yeah,
you know, I haven't had one since I was able to go there when, you know, this
yeah,
was probably, you know, like 6 months ago, actually, or you know,
yeah.
when it was a little warmer before all the holidays and everything else. And that's just a great setup as well. You know,
Right.
what those guys, Tash and has done for those buildings, and
Yeah.
Brad, and the back patio, and just everybody's still, you know, the ordering and doing like a takeout thing from there now is
Yeah.
a good example.
It was great that they had the fact that they started as a food truck and now they're able to actually park the food truck right in the parking lot there and operate out of it. It's great. It's a
That's
great
yeah,
opportunity for them because I know originally they weren't open for takeout, and then they moved the truck in and started to operate that way during the shutdown. So that's really great to see because I know they were getting great response from the community once they opened. So it's good to see that
yeah.
they're able to still churn
I
out
mean,
those bowls.
talk about when they opened, it was they were lining up out the door and they
Crazy,
were
I
running
know.
out of ingredients like that.
Yeah, that's what people are waiting. This is the kind of stuff that is exciting about the communities, Spring City and Royersford, is they're chomping at the bit for more.
Yeah,
They got a
yeah,
taste of what it could be like to have people out and about on Main Street, and they love it and they want more of it. So,
yeah.
you know, I talked to Brad in a previous episode, and he had, you know, he couldn't give me details about what's coming, but he said that every building that he owns has a signed lease for it already. So that's good just to hear that
Okay.
there's all those
In
vacant
addition,
spaces are being taken up. So that's
that's
exciting.
amazing. In
Yeah.
addition to downtown, right, which was you
Yeah,
had
in
mentioned that.
addition, yeah. So that
That
one,
might be on.
hopefully they were supposed to have a grand, I mean, they were supposed to have a soft opening at some point in the summer, and then they were hoping to have the grand opening in line with Community Day. So I don't know.
Okay.
September is a long way off, and I think we should be hopefully back to somewhat normal, whatever the new normal is by then. So hopefully it doesn't mess up their plans too much to get that place opened up. But
Yeah, I mean that would, especially for Community Day. I mean that I they were amazing. The last two years of those, the weather was great, and all
yeah,
the cars and businesses out, and
yeah, it just
you
continues
know,
to grow each year they do it. And, you know,
yeah,
like you had said, the efforts of Amy and Anna Marie and Jenna and the borough council and everybody who's involved on this, the community day
totally,
committee and stuff. It's you know, it's one of those things where you have a handful of the same people and they just so selflessly
yeah,
give to make these things happen.
yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing the great job that they've done,
Yeah,
and that it's shown a really great example for Spring City, which has their own community days
yeah,
and, you know, music playing on the street, but they're I think they're excited because they're going to begin to participate. And I think like a symbolic link of both the boroughs is, if the trestle is finished, then
Yeah.
there's talk of like let's have a whole dual borough community celebration. And
Yeah, that'd be
I think,
awesome.
and people are saying, well, let's close off the bridge for a couple hours. Let's see what happens there.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Yeah, people, what's going on down here? I can't get around. I got to go to Phoenixville. And nobody can get through Phoenixville.
Yeah. That's one of the things that when I first started Discover Springford, the biggest feedback I got was, where's the hyphen? Why don't you hyphenize or hyphenate? That's the word. Springford.
Yeah.
And originally, frankly, it's because I didn't know it was that big of a deal that it was hyphenated or not.
Okay.
But then I realized it's like, well, the whole purpose of the show is to highlight both of the boroughs and then the greater Springford area, which is Limerick and Upper Providence Township. And for one, I'm not affiliated with anything. It's just my own. So by not having the hyphen, it kind of stands alone. But then also I was kind of seeing it as a way to unite the two boroughs, to remove the hyphen and make it like one shared kind of thing. So that's kind of, so that, the bridge is that hyphen, and we're once that's reopened, it's connecting the spring and the ford together again. Because people don't often know this. I found this out in my Springford Area Historical Society episode.
Yeah.
The Royers brothers lived in Spring City, so they didn't live in Royersford.
Oh,
so the way that the town was named Royersford because they had a ford where they would have a little like ferry boat that would go across the river from their land in Spring City into Royersford. So they called it Royersford, and that's how the borough got its name. So
wow.
So there's a lot of shared history. So there's no reason to hyphenate, I think, when you're talking about both areas together. That's my own personal my personal soapbox for that.
No, I like it. Just we'll have a couple community days or you name it, where festivals.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Something new. Definitely.
Well, thanks, Mark, for doing this. I appreciate you sharing.
Sure.
And sorry about some of the technical glitches starting out, and we were able to hopefully work it out. And through editing, the magic of editing, I'll be able to fix some of those glitches. But cool. As we wrap up, like any specific links or you want to direct people to if they wanted to find out more information about the Trestle or Birdies Kitchen or any of your properties, if you ever have rentals available.
Sure. I mean, really, that they're really occupied, and that's nothing I'd be trying to plug. I mean, okay. I would say a lot of the businesses in Spring City, in addition to Birdies, you got great fitness counseling with what that were started there in F5. You still have the hotel. You still have chaplains for live music. Everybody's going to be itching to get out.
Yeah.
And there's just still a lot there. And then same thing in town.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big Easy is still there. They're still doing takeout, and there's a lot of great food options and places to get to, and go take out and have a picnic when the weather's good. Go to the Pink Moose and take out, and there's benches. You can take a walk down to the dock. I mean, I'm not sure when things are going to open up. They're talking about maybe April 1st.
You mean May 1st, you mean?
Sorry, May 1st. So hopefully that presents some type of a change,
Yeah.
We can maybe start back to a little bit of normalcy. But, we all know that school's closed till then. But check out a couple of just look online. You see the different places. Try to spread the love around. There's a lot of places to stop at. Even there's going to be a new ice cream place.
Yeah, Handles of Royersford is going in.
Yeah,
I mean, that's exciting.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So there's just a ton of it. It's going to be a fun time. We're just going to get through this through the weirdness.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can't wait. I said to my wife, I was like, I can't wait till I get through a 24-hour period and the coronavirus does not enter my memory or my thoughts whatsoever. That's when I'll know that we're fully out of it. So maybe by Christmas time.
Oh my God. Yeah. Get ready for the holidays.
That's right.
Better be all clear by then.
Yeah, for sure.
Kids back to school. So.
All right. Well,
Cool.
Mark, thank you so much for your time. And thank you all for watching and listening to this episode of Humans of Springford. If you don't subscribe, I encourage you to do that. You can share our videos and our podcasts on social media. That helps people spread the word about what's going on in the Springford community. You can subscribe to our podcast on any podcast app, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever it is. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook Watch channel as well. Until next time, I encourage you to go back, check out all of the places we've highlighted. A lot of the ones that Mark brought up today actually are in our archive at our website, discoverspringford.com. You can see episodes featuring the Railroad Street Bar and Grill, Anna Marie's, Spring City Hotel, Chaplin's. We've already highlighted a lot of those businesses, so you can get a more detailed explanation and history about those businesses, so you're ready to frequent them as soon as everything opens back up again. But until then, enjoy the journey and continue to discover what makes the Springford area a great place to live, work, eat, and explore.